the opportunity to have this lecture from you're in Indonesia. Which part of Indonesia you are?
Oh, West Indonesia, Jakarta.
You're in Jakarta. Oh, okay. So actually, I haven't met you in person, Dr. Rudy.
Yeah, we haven't met in person.
I never met. So only got the opportunity to be introduced by Dr. Shikin.
Yeah.
So you have worked with Dr. Shikin
Yes.
previously?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to start soon?
Okay. Okay. I can
Okay.
start if you want.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Uh, Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Rudy Susanto. I'm asked to introduce some enrichment for your class, especially in rapid prototyping and uh, rapid prototyping, explanation how what is important in this kind of step. What should you design? How will you design it? And the technology behind it. So today we will discuss a bit about that. Yeah. Uh, Let me share my slide. It's the host. Oh, I cannot share. Wait. Oh, the host is not sharing. Let me check it.
Ada kalau bikinin Zoom interview interview full time tanggal 8 jam 10 ya.
Asik. Ada interview full time lagi tapi nggak pernah ada yang keterima.
I cannot share my screen. Real. Let me ask.
Bisa naik bu, bisa naik bu sampai 6. Ada juga ada yang sampai 6. Banyak dari mereka tidak naik. Ya, ini ada shop.
I'm not so familiar with Zoom, but you're supposed to be assigned as a presenter, Dr. Rudy?
Yeah. No, I'm not assigned by, as a presenter because I cannot share because the host of this the conference can disable sharing. Please wait for a moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Just a little bit of introduction about Dr. Rudy. Anyone curious about Dr. Rudy before Dr. Rudy is sharing his slide?
Yeah, because I'm late for the CV. I'm so sorry. I already added to it.
I think Dr. Shikin sent me a link about you on your university website. How do you pronounce this? Binus University? Binus.
Yeah, Binus.
Oh, Binus. Okay,
Binus
Binus
Nusantara.
University.
Okay.
So you're in science computer or you are engineering?
I'm in computer engineering.
Oh, computer engineering. Okay. And I see here that your background is more on embedded system.
Yeah, embedded system, CAD, and microcontroller design.
So it's exactly the right person to teach us how to do the prototyping on this.
Yeah.
Because my students here they are supposed to be using the microcontroller in their project.
Okay.
And actually, the same bunch of students, I'm teaching them also embedded system.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they are the same bunch of kids that I need to teach. The thing is, my background is more on the integrated design project, so more of my material that I have covered is more on the project management.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay. Apparently, okay. I can share now. Can you see this? Okay.
system, I'm actually very new.
Okay. Good morning, children. Can you see this? Yes. Okay. Today I will discuss about rapid prototyping.
Only that they are not in presentation slide.
Oh no, that's okay.
Okay, can you
Because
zoom in
I
a
use
little
two
bit?
screens. That is okay. After this, I'll also have a demo if you want to do design, create, or something like that.
Okay, sure.
Good morning, children, students, and also colleagues. Today I will discuss about rapid prototyping. Not, although the slide is many, I will try to keep it short so we have time to questions and answers. And also I want to, if you want to ask about how to design, I will show you also about the software that we use. It is free. Yeah, you can also use this by not promoting the product, but you can also use this for in your engineering product engineering project. Today is about rapid prototyping. About me, my name is Rudy Susanto. I'm a lecturer in computer engineering in Binus University since 2006. Quite old, so I specialize in embedded design, especially in AVR microcontroller, assembly language, FPGAs, 3D CAD design, and PCB designs. From the industrial experience, I work some projects, notably some of the maybe the brand that you see on the screen quite familiar with you. I'm a consultant in Yamaha Indonesia for making their motorbike system, the Motorola Solutions. I also as a consultant in Toray Indonesia Synthetics. I also as a consultant is in especially in consumer product for Philips Indonesia, and I also have projects in Unilever Indonesia. Now, what will we talk about? Yeah, today what is from the slides that Dr. Doris sent me, she wants to walk about rapid prototyping. So we will discuss about rapid prototyping, what is rapid prototyping processes, especially what technologies can you use to improve this kind of process, either subtractive or and also introduce about subtractive and additive manufacturing. Yeah. In the product development process, you have a planning, concept, system level design, detail design, testing refinement, and production wrap up. Yeah, this is usually is very common in the development cycle of a product. Yeah, especially in planning. Yeah, when you plan, you start to draw a concept what you want to do in either in the electronics, and also the case or the design that will be presented by the user. Yeah, one note about this is sometimes you can also make more time for the product or the case. Yeah, usually when you are in especially in computer engineering or embedded system, most of the time you are not focused on the development of the electronics. Yeah, what I mean is if you have a 100 hour, usually in university, you are taught that, oh yeah, this 100 hour is 60% of design, 40% of testing, or even sometimes 60% of testing, 40 design of the electronic design. Now, the problem is when you are in industrial, yeah, usually that 60 hour will be reduced to about 40 to 30 hour only. Yeah, so the development of the embedded system, especially the electronics, you will be hard pressed to do about only 30 hours or 30% of the time. Now, the 30 hours remaining is usually for refining the design that of the box, especially the case that will be used to be presented by the company or you to the customer. So one of the things that I tend to see in an engineering graduates is that sometimes we only use that, okay, I want to make something very good. For example, you want to use you want to make a telemetry device, very advanced, but the box is only a small box, yeah, like a square for like that. That sometimes that doesn't attract the customer, even though your device is very advanced. Now, this is where the prototyping or rapid prototyping comes in. Yeah, every possible development process, like planning, concept, system level, detail design, testing and refinement, even in production setup, every part of this you can include the prototyping or rapid prototyping process. Yeah, either for small refinement or even major revision of the device. This prototyping usually where does this comes? Yeah, when you already try to build and test the model. Now, that's when you want to try to start the prototyping of the product. Yeah, especially the design, the what material that you want to use, what kind of the strength, how long that you want this product to last, yeah, how efficient is the manufacturing, etc. Yeah, so this the prototyping process is quite important even at early stages of the product. Now, the problem is when I told you rapid prototyping, what is actually a rapid prototyping? Yeah, rapid prototyping or RP is a term that encompasses a variety of processes used to fabricate models. Yeah, prototyping part for product using CAD data from computer models, so you can already build your design if you want to, even at the early stages of the like I said, even at the early stages of your design, your product. Yeah, for example, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just base measurement, length, height, thickness. You can start to do some prototyping to especially connecting it to the user. Yeah, what type of user that want to use it? Is it normal people or disabled? Yeah, for example, when we try to build a braille system, you have to consider if this the product is quite heavy or light enough, if the for the user to be carried around, or is it too expensive? Is it do you need a battery that lasts longer, or how many hours that the user will use? That's that kind of thinking that you want to try to incorporate at the earliest stage of the design. Yeah, so you don't have to have the like I said, you don't have to do some kind of complex like using AI or ChatGPT. No, 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 no. I think that your lecturers will give you quite enough enough knowledge to in the early stage that when I want to build something like an embedded system. Yeah. For example, what do we want to build? Easy, sir. We want to try to build something like connected to farming, yeah, hydroponics and etc. You you can also start. What is the scale of the hydroponics? Is it for 1 hectare? Yeah, or you want to use it at home? Yeah, that's now by setting that limit, you can at the earliest stage, you can build a very good design and very compact, and it is useful. So the main problem is sometimes as an engineer, yeah, you want to make the device as advanced as possible, right? Now, that's the principle of economics. So you don't need like that. Just focus on the what do you want to build. Yeah, you don't have to make it like a super advanced. Like I want to compete with Germany. It's not. Yeah, the best prototyping. Yeah, the best prototyping is you build layer by layer. Yeah, the simplest one. After that, you improve little by little, like stairs. Yeah, you don't have to be built like a monument that will last eternal like 200 years. It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah, very simple. Yeah. Now, usually rapid prototyping, you need some knowledge for in this day and age, like 2D or 3D CAD. For me, you can also start by using a drawing book. Yeah, just like paper and pencil, you can start to draw about what is the CAD. CAD and CAM is a tool. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about adding some. Well, that means I need to learn complex CAD like SolidWorks, Autodesk, or something. No, no, no. It is not like that. You can also start by using your sketchbook. Yeah, and trust me, I don't have the ability to draw smooth like an artist. So yeah, at least every dimension that you want to state is clear. That's enough. Yeah. Now, the term rapid, yeah, describe a process for several research. There are the term rapid is usually confirmed to for like from days to hours. Yeah, maybe all of you already heard about 3D printing, yeah, CNC machine, and like that. Now, there is the tools that we will use in terms of rapid prototyping. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. Usually, if we talk about this about 10 years ago, yeah, you will find a quite difficult or a challenging situation when you want to make a rapid prototype. Usually, we goes to Singapore, not Singapore. When I want to use, I go to my partner in Philippines, Thailand, or even China. Yeah, but in this day and age, you can easily find a 3D printing in the university or in a makerspace. Now, did this one redefine the term rapid Yeah, 10 years ago when we call rapid is 1 week. Okay, yeah. Now it's merely hours or even days or even hours. I want to start to print right now at 9 to 10. Yeah. Then in the afternoon, after lunch, yeah, my model is already fixed. Yeah. That's how evolved the production system is now. But that also give room for you to fix your mistake quickly. That's what I like from rapid prototyping. Yeah. For example, this is one of a design that we try to build. A simple hand drill. Yeah. You can. This is all 3D printed. This is all 3D printed. The casing is all 3D printed. The design, yeah. The motor and the controller is we try to build it. Yeah. You will in the college, you will learn about how to build that using microcontrollers. How about the battery? But everything in here, yeah, is 3D printed. Yeah, the materials may be different, the colors may be different, but you can and this we build it is about for the production for this is about 16 to 20 hours, that fast. So you can build it, yeah, you design it. After that, the day after tomorrow you can show it to your lecturer. This is our design. That's how fast rapid prototyping has become. Yeah. Now, what is rapid prototyping used for usually? The first one is in-house design evaluation. Yeah, physical testing, clarification. For presentation to marketing or market reaction, it's mainly because you want to try to sell your product as soon as possible. Yeah, but in our field in computer engineering or in electrical engineering, the main is this one. Yeah, the in-house design, physical testing, especially about the safety. Yeah, as an engineer, one of the most important things that you have to evaluate in your system is not for me, but for myself is 50% that the device is working. Yeah, I'm sure all of you can attest to that. Yeah, you already teach by how to test, how to build, but the main problem, the next 50% is how safe your device is. Yeah, that is the main for me, the main concern when you are trying to build a device that is, especially if you want to make it mass product or many people will use it. Is it safe? Yeah, can it accept disturbance from unexpected things that you want, like rain, water, yeah, if your device is drop or surging voltage or something like that. Yeah. Number two is physical testing. Yeah, especially for the ergonomics function. Is it comfortable to be used? Is it okay? Is it if you build your product for household wise, is it okay to be used? Or if you build it for children, what if the children try to eat your device? Yeah, that's the main question that we usually ask if we build some things. Last but not the least is the clarification of design changes. This is especially important. Yeah, especially your lecturer said that his experience is project design and project management. Now, the clarification of design changes is every part of important as the design itself. Yeah, you as an engineer have the obligation to clarify every design changes, especially in management. Why? Because they pay you. Yeah, you are obligated. You are also have the right, yeah, the responsibility to clarify everything. Yeah, because if you do not, as an engineer, if you make any changes, that changes can affect a lot of things in the production. Yeah, starting from tooling, the time, even the safety of the people that use or build your device. Yeah, this is why it is important. Yeah. Now, rapid prototyping process can be built by, for me, is built by two main process. The first one is subtractive. The second one is additive. Now, the subtractive, yeah, usually using CAD or CAM to control a sheet or a block of material. Yeah, you reduce the material into the shape that you want or the pattern that you want. That is subtractive material, subtractive manufacturing. Yeah, you can use laser cutting, water jet, plasma, milling, routing, hot wire, yeah, EDM atau wire, electrical wiring, discharge. Yeah. Nah, the simplest one if you want to use is hot wire cutting. You can also use milling and routing. Yeah, especially with this era of CNC. Yeah, routing and maybe hot wire cutting is starting to get more accessible, very accessible to students in college. But for plasma cutting, water jet cutting, and plasma cutting and water jet, you maybe need some certification in operating the machine. Yeah, for laser cutting, usually is you don't need certification, but you need to have safety and training for using the machine. Yeah. Now, for example, yeah, this is a hanger code design by Nendo for Coppolini. An example of this is what for rapid prototyping. For example, this one for laser cut. Yeah, you can also use, for example, like us, this one. This is an example of an inhaler when this one of the design that that I involved in when in Kimia Pharma. Yeah, we try to produce like how the inhaler is designed, how the product will be used by the patients that try to use them. Yeah, for this one is additive. Yeah, if you look closely, this one, like there's a line like this one. Yeah, this is one of the product that use additive manufacturing. You can use, for example, like SLA, yeah, jet system, DLP, SLS, yeah, SMS, DLSMS, yeah, even 3-dimensional printing or fuse deposit modeling. Yeah, for example, like you can use metal or something like that. But this one is we use FDM. Yeah. Now, the advantage of for example additive manufacturing, yeah, sometimes that you do not need any specialized tooling. Nah, but the machine is a tool, sir. Yes, but additional tooling, yeah, the machine itself is the thing that you will use. But usually, the one that I amazed with additive manufacturing world is that usually that you need very minimal tooling to process something to from your design. So you can usually move from CAD, a 3D design, from a CAD or 3D design to the machine itself rather quickly. Usually that if we use for example a 3D printer, usually the one that you the tools that you only need is just cutting plier. That's all. Cutting plier. Some sanding will be needed, but it's not that difficult to use that. So the tooling is quite minimal. A bit different from the subtractive manufacturing. You need to know the tooling, how the machine works, how to optimize the path, and etc. So for early stages of the manufacturing, usually I would recommend this one. Just so for the first time, or if you want to try to build any prototyping, for example, prototyping material for your product, I very suggest that you start with additive manufacturing. Less waste, especially e-waste, e-waste or plastic waste. So the additive and it is more tolerable to accept design fault and also design changes. The thing that you need to quite concerning is the how you design the product itself for additive manufacturing. These both additive and subtractive have different design challenges. If you want to ask, just ask. Students, if you want to ask, just ask. If not, maybe if you also feel this is too fast, I understand. Just chat or raise hand. I will answer. So this the explanation is not statically, or I'm trying not to be too stiff. It's like I'm trying, like I said, this want to be like this simple conversation of if any concern that you want to ask about how, why, what, who, where, when. So if you have a question, just ask. I don't mind. Now additive now the advantages of additive manufacturing is usually you can enable a low economic low and low volume, low economic production. This is why I very recommend for you as a designer, especially for if you want to make a design just for 10 pieces, 5 pieces, 10 pieces, or even one. Additive manufacturing is one of the best tool that you can use. For example, for your project, it's every group can have a very distinct project, right? You don't have to build something that is very large volume. Like if you're in production, you have to go to your factory in Malaysia or Thailand, Vietnam, even China. That's the big boss. We say. But for if you want to just build one or two, either for your final project, group project, or even for your own personal use, additive manufacturing is one of the best things that you can use to design your project. Yeah, yeah. So AM is, like I said, although you can say, but the price result is fairly substantial after I build it. For example, if you build it in mass produce, uh, for example, this mouse, if you build it using mass production, you can have about the mouse is about $100. Okay, but if you build it for 5 people, 5 person, the mouse is will be increased significantly about $500 to $1,000. Yes, but the problem is sometimes we forget that to build it, so the volume is about the price is going down to $100. You have to build about 10,000, 5,000 to 10,000 units. The problem is you only need 5. Where does the 9,995 pieces go? Yeah, yeah. This is sometimes that we as engineers tends to forget that. Yeah, it is okay that because the cheap goods from China or in Vietnam, we sometimes compare. Oh no lah, this one is better. Why? Because this one is cheaper. Correct. If you in industry we call it, if you find it off the shelf. Yeah. If the one that you want to build the system, either the sensor, the PCBs, the casing, is available off market, off the shelf. Yeah. But the problem is in engineering, especially in our engineering, usually you have to customize the things that you want to build, right? For example, the mouse that you want to build will be used by a disabled person. Yeah, you cannot easily find that kind of mouse for in the public space area of the shelf. If you need, usually the mouse is worth about $2,000 to $3,000. Yeah, but one of the concern of your design that you want to build a mouse that accessible for the people that were unlucky. Yeah, for example, the disabled people, or they have disability like losing 1 or 2 fingers. Yeah, so I want to build this kind of design to help them, yeah, to be a productive member of society. That means you can every product that you make is customizable, right? Yeah, it very depends on the people that want to use that. Yeah, this is why I fully support the additive manufacturing industries. Yeah, it makes them so easy. Yeah, so accessible if you want to build something that help other people. Yeah, especially very custom design. I even try to build my PC using my 3D printer. Yeah, PC casing. Yeah, because there's no I want to build it like this, but the aftermarket is nowhere to be found, so I use several things to build my own PC case. Yeah, that's the power of additive manufacturing. That's quite also challenging for you. Yeah, as an engineer, skills is something perishable, right? So you need to do a lifelong learning. For example, like continuously train your thoughts, your skills. Yeah, unlike knowledge. Yeah, for example, you were taught 1 + 1 is 2. That is knowledge. Yeah, but soldering is a skill. Yeah, if you do not train it, yeah, design is also a skill. If you do not train it continuously, that skill will become perishable. Yeah, as an engineer, you sometimes Work behind the desk is okay, but you also need to go to the factory. Yeah, that's the spirit of engineering. Yeah. Now, one of the main advantages of the AM for me, yeah, is the presence of molding. Yeah, AM usually does not need molding or casting. Yeah, you can use this. You can also use this as a source for molding and casting, but usually AM doesn't need like that. Yeah, for example, like this. Yeah, you can build a very complex, yeah, engine block. Yeah, for this one, using additive manufacturing. You cannot do this with subtractive manufacturing because this kind of complex geometry, yeah, subtractive manufacturing cannot be used. Yeah, but this complex engineering help to, for example, dissipate heat. Yeah, makes the heat of the engine dissipate lower, lighter, yeah, than traditional engine block. You can use this kind of engine block, for example, has about 30 to 40% lighter. Yeah, this one usually used in aeroplane or space engineering. Yeah, you can use this. Yeah. Now, this one is called lattice design. Yeah, you can the machine can bear heavy loads while about 30 to 40% than most normal cylindrical block. This is the power of AM. This is, or for example, this one is hearing aid. Yeah, this one every person's ear is very distinct. Yeah, so you can use this kind of this one is resin casting. Yeah, SLA. You can produce this one massive for about 10 to 20 people at once, but also retain their uniqueness of their ear. This is the power of AM. For me, this is just incredible. Yeah. Now, let's talk about what is that. Doesn't mean that you have, but that means that subtractive manufacturing is bad. No. Yeah. There is also kita bilangnya apa ya? There is also the benefit of subtractive manufacturing. Yeah, the one that you use, for example, like phone case or something like that, they use for the master molding, they use subtractive manufacturing. This one is good. Also, for the first example is subtractive manufacturing has good accuracy. You build it once, yeah, build once for the molding. After it is agreed, yeah, the production you can make thousand and thousand of the product same. Yeah, the better accuracy, good surface finish. Yeah, what do I mean by good surface finish? For example, like a phone case, yeah, this one, the shinier that you build, the better the surface finish of the material. That this one, you cannot. Sometimes the additive manufacturing, you can only have about 90 to 95% of the product has a good finish. Yeah, that's common. Yeah, that's not unusual. So for about 1,000 pieces or whatever like that, additive manufacturing is only about 90 to 95%. But using subtractive manufacturing, you can make the master, for example, tooling for injection or something like that. This one, you can make 10,000 pieces and no defect. No defect at all. Yeah. So that's why the first is good accuracy, good surface, efficient volume fabrication. This is the main advantage of subtractive manufacturing. Yeah. you can have 30 machine, one can, one program, all same. Yeah, this is why the subtractive manufacturing is still one of the contributors of our factory. Yeah, you can have a structural integrity of materials. Yeah, because the subtractive manufacturing usually dealt with material that cannot be built by AM. Metal, yeah, carbon fiber, yeah, wood, yeah, very specialized but very good materials. Yeah, suitability for large workpieces, yes. Yeah, AM for the one that I try to build the most, the largest pieces that I can build for AM is about 50 to 50 centimeters. Only half meter of cubic. But if subtractive manufacturing for the large pieces, you can build more than 2 to 3 meters. Yeah, depends on the tool that you use. Yeah, this one is better. Yeah. Now, what is for the subtractive material? What is the technology that usually used in the factory that you want? The first one is laser cutting. Yeah. I will not be too specific about what will be done, but usually laser cutting is you put a piece of laser, you focus it, and you can try to this. Yeah, the laser. Yeah, this is the usually use. Depends on the material. Yeah, you can use gallium. Yeah, but usually the most common that we use is CO2. The material is CO2 laser. Yeah, you can use this now. The laser has some advantage and disadvantage. Yeah, the first one, you can cut a plastic, especially plastic, for example acrylic, up to 30 to 40 millimeters, quite thick. Yeah, but sadly the laser cutting cannot usually does not have a good surface finish, or if you want some specific contour. Yeah, the weakness of the laser cutting is that. But the advantage is that you can make some of your cut very small. Yeah, this one good. Now the danger. First, the smoke that if you have this device, or if you operate this device, please wear protection, eyes, and smoke. Yeah, some parts that like I said, laser is usually they focus and they burn the material. Yeah, so you need to be in good air, and please wear safety goggles if you want to try it. Yeah, the laser particles, the laser reflects and will hit your eyes. Now, the bad one is laser is not good for reflective material, especially copper. Yeah, especially copper and aluminum. That's plasma. Yeah, or that's fiber laser. But normally laser, you cannot use this for example, etching PCBs or like that. It is not used that. You can use photography with that. Yeah, but for some materials like wood, plastic, cloth, yeah, this one is one of the best and cheapest material, production material that you can use. Production machine, sorry, not production material, production machine that you can use. Yeah. The second one is water cutting. So if you need something to cut very thick material. Yeah, water jet is you use different from a laser. You focus this using a lens. Water jet use this one. Yeah, we use ruby or emerald to focus the cutting. Yeah, inside, yeah, this is not only water, yeah, but high pressure water, more than 600 psi. This is an abrasive particle. Like if you have already have sanding paper, you know, yeah, the sand that you use in sanding paper, that is the abrasive particle. Yeah, so this one is mixed, yeah, about 600 to 600 psi. Yeah, you cut it, yeah, it will cut about 50 to 100 millimeter of steel like butter. Yeah, now the danger is if you put it when you operate this, yeah, this one, if you put it like this one in a static move, it will try to cut until the support structure is also cut. So be careful about this. Yeah, but this one is very good if you want to deal with metal. Yeah, metal, some large workpiece. The advantage of this one is the cutting also cleans the metal. Yeah, steel, the steel also cleans the steel from rust. Yeah, so this one usually if you want to build something yang more rigid, yeah, yeah, usually you will find this one laser, bukan, water cutting, usually in car factory, especially when they build like a container or something like that. Yeah, this one is or usually in fence, if you want to build a big fence or something like that, or a very large cooling system. This one is good. Yeah. Okay. The next one is plasma. Now, plasma, yeah, usually you use the plasma for cutting non-ferrous material, stainless steel, yeah, something to a bit hard to what is the English word for ngelas, ya, las. Joining metal with bahasa Indonesia las. I forgot. Usually I use plasma cutting if you want to use something like stainless steel, yeah. Aluminum also good for this one, yeah. But usually the one that the plasma cutting, you can use this kind of subtractive material manufacturing for non-ferrous material, or if something more like something that hard to be joined by electric welding, sorry, something that is hard to specialize for welding, yeah. Plasma cutting is very good for that. Yeah, so if your product is usually stainless steel, brass, yeah, copper, or something that is weld for a specific purposes, yeah, CNC plasma cutting is better. Yeah. Now, milling and routing, this is usually what you try to use for generic material, usually aluminum, or if you have something that is not 2D, you want to make a contour or something like that. Yeah, this is the basic. Yeah. Also, if you want to train as an mechanical engineer, yeah, combined with electrical engineer, this is the tool that you have to master. Yeah, usually in every technology, this is the two tools that I use most. Yeah, either manual or CNC. But usually I prefer manual. You can tune it more beautifully if you already you can master the right way how to design the contour, yeah, easily. This will give you a very large, a very most if value, yeah, as an engineer. This is bang for your buck lah. I'm using the YouTuber. What you say? This is the most value. Yeah, if you want to train as a mechanical engineer, but also, no, if you in electrical engineering or computer engineering, yeah, embedded engineer, but you want to also have a skill in production, I very recommend you train this one. It doesn't have to be a CNC. Yeah, you can come usually in the university if you have a mechanical engineering laboratory. Yeah, you can come to them and see how the procedure is worked. Yeah, it will give you very a good picture how your system will be built. Yeah, you can also train that. Yeah, this is one of my first machine, not CNC, but milling and routing is one of the basic that you can use, and as an extra or additional skill if you want to build your own case or something like that. Yeah, this is one. Yeah, now this is usually in campus, in high school or junior. You can one of the most common things that I see is hot wire cutting. Yeah, you can. This is one is use polystyrene or something like that. You can make a model of your product using polystyrene, cardboard, or something like that. Yeah. So this machine usually you can use it for experimenting with form factor, how your device should look like, how big, how is it easy to carry. Yeah, hot wire cutting is something good for very early experimentation. If you want to build something that is it possible. Yeah, if I want to use subtractive manufacturing to build my device, yeah, is it or should I use something more specialized? Yeah, hot wire cutting is good for determining or evaluating your design like that. Yeah, not too expensive, not too poisonous also, but you have to be careful about this the hot wire, this one. Yeah, but this is also one of the device that if you are conscious about waste, hot wire cutting is one of the most non-recyclable waste that you can use. Yeah, so yeah, for me, use it wisely. Yeah, yeah, this one is example. Yeah, this is from subtractive manufacturing example. Yeah, this one is the example is the rack. Yeah, yeah, like this. Yeah, they use damas. Yeah, now this one after the using laser they cut it. Yeah, this is the software and the technology that we use. This one is a table. Yeah, so the upper part of this is like this. Yeah, they put holes. Yeah, Yeah, so curved aluminum surface like that. Yeah. Nah, this one is also, yeah, you can use CNC routing, yeah, to make for example shell wooden shell space. Yeah, how does it build? The process is like this. Yeah, the CAD drawing, they use CAD models. Yeah, after that they assemble it. Yeah, they use, this is one of the more beautiful. Yeah, if you want to make a combination of art and engineering, yeah, product design or something like that, you can use it. Yeah, the second one is IM, or additive manufacturing. Yeah, what is like I said, what is additive manufacturing? Additive manufacturing is refers to a set of, sometimes using a CAD data, you can use, you build your project, or you build your case layer by layer. Yeah, there are many technologies that you can use. Yeah, yeah. The concept is simple. You build your device or your product layer by layer by layer by layer. Yeah. What differentiate every additive manufacturing technologies is only the technologies that is used to build that device. Yeah. The first one is SLA. Yeah. Contrary to most people thinks, yeah, FDM is the last technology that is being used. Yeah, contrary to popular belief that, oh, the first one is FDM, yeah, fused deposit material. Then after that there's SLA. No. The in industrial design, yeah, and manufacturing, yeah, a lot of additive manufacturing technologies have been around since the 80s, yeah, 1980s, 1990s, yeah, even some in 1970s, yeah. But FDM, yeah, is the most recent one, yeah. So if you contrary to popular belief that you said that, oh, in the in YouTube area or makerspace or SLA or MSLA is like that, is the recent one. No, and it is FDM that is the recent one. Yeah, the first one is stereo SLA. Yeah, you put this one. Yeah, this is UV laser, CNC control mirror. Yeah, you build it by putting directing the laser. Yeah, layer by layer. Yeah, yeah. Usually SLA, yeah, MSLA, SLA, or resin. Popular pronunciation is when we use resin. You can use curable resin. Yeah, so the laser, yeah, usually using UV, it will be hardened. Yeah, after that, now the troublesome for the laser is after you laser it, after it is hardened, yeah, you need a post processing. Yeah, a post processing using either IPA. Yeah, after that you have to cure it more. Yeah, cure it, and after that, then after the device or the product that you want to build is done. Yeah. Now, yeah, the second one is jetting system. Jetting system is like more like a printing. It is introduced by HP. Yeah, Hewlett Packard. Yeah, the jet is it is the same technology that is used by your printer. Yeah, paper printer. The difference is it is like printing in the same paper over and over again. yeah, building its layer. Yeah, it's like so jetting system. The difference with the regular jet and 3D printing jet is it's like you print 1,000 pages, yeah, over and over again. Yeah, build it by layer by layer by layer by layer. Yeah, this one. Yeah, in this yeah, so it's the same. This is printer cartridge. Yeah, this is printer head. Nah, at the side of the printer there is an UV LED that also after printing it will cure the ink, the pigment. Yeah, yeah. The difference is if you build you print 1,000 paper, this one is more like papers, but the jet system is you will you print it layer by layer by layer by layer by layer. So yeah, it's almost the same like you print 1,000 pages of paper over and over again. Yeah, the difference is the resin that is used is more like gel ink. If you have used like this one, yeah, gel ink for your pen, yeah, it is more thick, but you use it layer by layer. Yeah, yeah. This one is DLP, one of the early manufacturing is this one is introduced by Texas Instruments. Yeah, the difference with MSLA or difference with MSLA, the SLA is that the laser comes, you control this mirror. Yeah, you control this mirror. The mirror will excite, will draw the layer that you want to build. Now, but the DLP, it uses an LCD projector beneath. Yeah, this is the one that most commonly used. Yeah, most commonly used in commercial that you want commercial 3D printer. For example, Anycubic Photon, Neptune. What else? Yeah, there's Creality Halot or for example Prusa. Yeah, this one is direct light processing, DLP. This is in early stages. They use a projector. The build platform is from top. Yeah, it will be cured layer by layer. Yeah. Now, this is SLS, selective laser sintering. Now, these three technologies, SLA, yeah, jetting, and DLP uses a liquid resin. They use a liquid resin to be hardened and cured by UV. Now, SLS, yeah, SLS, selective laser sintering, uses a different material. Yeah, the material that is used is powder, usually powder. Yeah, either nylon, some is or some can use metal, but the machine is very expensive. But usually, if you want to build, for example, like material from nylon, yeah, PA6, PA12, yeah, DSL or some polycarbonate PC material, yeah, SLS is one of the best technology you can use to build a 3D printed an AM material for that. Yeah, I think NASA uses this for their some of their machine. machining for their components. Yeah. SLS. Yeah. Now this is the same. Yeah. Selective mask. It is the same. Yeah. For the SLS, this is directly from laser. Yeah. You can the powder is put it one, and after that you laser it. After that one, laser it, one, laser it. Nah, like that. This one is more like for what can I say? This is the other type of SMS, selective mass sintering. Yeah, they call it they try to imitate the things that they want to use for EUV, for making silicon. Yeah. Now, what's the difference between this? Yeah, SMS, yeah, selective mass sintering, yeah, with this one. Yeah, the SMS doesn't use laser. It uses infrared light. Yeah, it mirrors it and it reflects it. So the difference between SLS and SMS, yeah, is only the light source that they use. The first one uses laser, yeah. This one uses infrared light. Now, the strength is far superior this one. Yeah. Contrary to what popular men believe, this one is better. No. When I use it in the field, the laser one is better, but this one is more precise. Yeah. If you want to look for precision, I recommend this one, SMS, yeah, selective mass sintering. But if you want to build strength, use this one, yeah, selective laser sintering. Yeah, this is the LMS. This is for metal. Yeah, this is for metal. If you want to build something yang, for example, aluminium, yeah, simple aluminium, the grade is 1XX or 2XX. You can, but please remind that this not easy. This one, the MLS, direct metal laser sintering, is not usable if you want to try to build a firearm. Yeah, you need tempering. You still need tempering, treatment, metal heating, and etc. Yeah, this is only to reduce your casting time. Yeah, this is only to reduce your casting time. So if you build a piston or engine control, yeah, ECU or something like that, and you use direct metal laser sintering, yeah, please remember you need post-processing for this. This is only for reducing your casting, yeah, casting time, metal casting. Not as this is not as dangerous as liquid metal, yeah, forging, yeah, but it is brittle, very brittle. So if you want to, my uni have this, then I can make something for my car. No, you need you still need metal treatment, metal heating, and etc. Especially firearm. It is very dangerous if you build a firearm using this. It will explode on you. Yeah, please be careful about this. Yeah, last but not least, the most popular one, FDM, fuse, FDM. Yeah, this one. Yeah, if you already, I think, in your campus or in Makerspace, in there you also have this kind of material. Yeah, using filament and heating and extra. So this one is quite good if you need a very rapid prototype. This one one of my go-to machine. Yeah, I can build a very simple prototyping in hours. Yeah, after I finish this one, I design in 15 minutes. Start up my printer. 2 hours later, after I go to lunch, yeah, the product is already there, and I can use it for measuring or testing or something like that. Yeah, this is the case study. Yeah, this is mixing of some of the additive manufacturing. Yeah, using polyurethane, stainless steel, aluminum, glass reinforced plastic, self-sinking polyurethane, foam, and nylon. Yeah, this use quite a few technologies that is used for additive manufacturing. Yeah, you can also use this. Yeah, yeah. For example, you can build material face using CAD like this. Yeah, yeah. Epoxy. Yeah, you can using porcelain or something like that. Yeah, this one. Yeah, quite cute bottle opener. Yeah. This is a mix of casting and 3D printing. Yeah. Now, any question?
I have write something in the chat
Oh.
box.
Sorry. Okay. Oh. Oh, very enough. Yeah. In your dream, in the factory, we only have 3D printer, cutting and drilling machine. It is very enough. Yeah. In my room, there's only that three tools also: a 3D printer, a cutting, and a drilling machine. Yeah. It is more than enough to you for rapid prototyping. It is more than enough to if you want to build something from you want to build. Let me show you some of my product. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, for example, this is the one that I built. Very simple one. This is only using 3D printer. This is the design that I use to help children when they want to go to the bathroom at night. Yeah, this is the casing. On the bottom it should be a LED. Yeah, so if they take it from the place, this is only 3D printing. The light will on, and they can use this as a soft light to go to for example, like into the bathroom or the hall. Yeah, across the hall. After that, if they put it, the light after that will, if they don't sense any movement, the light will turn off about 30 seconds later. Yeah, or it will dim, but also visible from if they want to still afraid of the dark. Oh, yeah. The second one is like this one. This is a simple bottle of shampoo. Yeah, this one for Unilever. What of the consideration is you can this one is also for children. Yeah, they the manufacturer want that the children can place it or grab it like this, so it doesn't fall from your hand or something like that. It's simple. It is more than enough. Yeah, more than enough. Yeah, so you don't have to worry that I need to buy or have access to modern material. No, you don't have to do it like that. Yeah. Also, if you need more advanced material, usually some website, for example, like JLC PCB also provide some services for 3D printing if you need something very specific. But 90% of my project usually come from my FDM. Yeah, I use my personal use is Creality, the cheapest one. Yeah, the cheapest one. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I hope that explains. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rudy.
Ah,
I think I have another questions regarding the rapid prototyping because for your information, this week onwards, students start developing their project.
yes.
We are in week 6 and we are ending the project in 8 weeks. So
How many
in
times?
this, we have 14 weeks, right? So we already finished the 6th week. So we are reaching, we have another half of the semester lah, basically.
Wow. Yeah.
So within this half semester, we have 2 classes every week. Do you think it will be enough for them to start developing from the system module by module and then start to integrate it and do the rapid prototyping all within the 7 weeks?
More. My
More than
student-
enough?
More. My student have less.
Less? Okay.
My student only have 4
Wow.
weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay.
More. It's more than not I'm pushing your students. Yeah. Not my like that. I don't know. For the project, is it group project or a single project?
It's a collaborative project. One group, we have 5 team members.
Oh, so many.
Yes,
It's more than enough.
it's more than
Yes, seriously. My system and project engineering, we already at week 8.
Di Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Week 10. Sorry, week 10. So there's students only have 4 weeks.
yeah.
One group only has 3. Yeah.
Oh,
So and they have
Nggak
to
kelompoknya di sana kuliah itu loh.
make an exhibition at week 14.
Terus
Oh,
kerjaannya
okay.
6 minggu.
it's similar to our
If you
own
think-
Ya kan kita
IPP
You think
style.
that's not enough? Then that means I'm cruel.
Iya sih, sebenarnya.
Actually, Dr. Rudy, we are very worried because one of the outcome that we are requiring the students to come up with is the PCB designing.
Yes.
So we ask them to develop the circuit to be printed onto PCB on week 8 to week 9, and then start to have like testing of the PCB on week 10.
Yeah.
So from
It's
week 10 and until week 14, usually week 14 they will be very busy with the presentation, preparation, and also reporting. I mean, like the final report, right?
Yeah.
So basically, after the having the PCB, they will have about more or less 3 weeks. Do you think there'll be enough for them to do even the rapid prototyping plus to incorporate all the sensors, everything in one
Yes.
system?
Yes.
Enough.
Enough.
Okay.
My students do that in 1 week.
Oh, okay.
So students, yeah, your lecturer is kind. I'm not joking. Your lecturer is kind. She gave you 5 person as a group in a group, while I'm only 3. And she gave you still 8 weeks. My students only get 4, half of you, with half the resource. Half the resource. I mean half the team. So the main problem that for if you try if the students if you try, no, there is no enough. No, the time is enough. the one that you have to manage is how you communicate between each member. Each member, you have to collaborate. Yeah,
participation is very high.
The communication must be you can use you have to communicate very clearly, students. Yeah, so this is a trial for you. For me, this is a test for the students also. Yeah, because in university or college, you have 5 engineers working on one product. Yeah, this one maybe you don't realize it, but you have 5 engineers working on one product. There is very even in industrial, there is very so much resource poured into one devices or one system. Yeah, if you work in, for example, like me in Motorola or Yamaha, you get 1 engineer for one project. And you have to do that in 1 month, or even in develop a system in merely 3 to 4 days. Yeah, that's why students, you don't have to worry about it, because like you have to realize that you are 5 engineers working on one product.
Yeah.
So your professor is very nice. Yeah. In us, in computer engineering, we have one group, only 3. Yeah, 3 person. Yeah, each have their own responsibility. Yeah, one is making the PCB, the CAD, PCB, and responsible for the system. One is responsible for the design of the CAD, the product. One is responsible for technical product, that means that now the problem is some maybe things. Well, that means that not all the students have the same capabilities. No, you have to work together. So the person that makes the PCB or makes the system can translate their knowledge to the other 2. That is also the same as the one that makes the CAD also have to explain the design philosophy of that the one that he designed to the other 2. Also, the one that write technical documents must ensure, yeah, the other 2 also understand what is the technical limitation, how can we present it, how it is communicated. This one, yes, I know. Students will think, oh, that's too cruel. No, that's reality in industry. Yeah, so don't be afraid, student. Your lecturer is very kind. One group is 5 person.
Yeah, because we are looking at every person must in charge of one something feature, one feature from the system.
Yes, so each person has to contribute.
Yes,
it's a teamwork. Yeah, one there is for us, this one is the one that you do contributes to the success of the team. Yeah, everyone is important. Nobody get left behind. Nobody is lacking off. Yeah, you have to realize that, students. Like I said, your college, your professor is very nice. One group is 5 person. Is for me, it's a luxury.
That's too many.
Serious, it's actually luxurious.
In the limitation was we have to set between 3 to 5 members, but because I want them to come up with a very good project, I give them more resources, more number of people, so that they can work together in order to come up with a very good project. That's why I give them more. They always have this kind of thinking that, madam, we have not much time in terms of developing this and that. That's why we need more members.
You have so much. You are so kind.
I just try to make sure that most of them get an A for this semester because before they move to the final year project, they have to learn a lot. So if we have more team members, we can make sure that everyone is learning a lot from each other.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes,
then we can work alone during the final year project.
Yes, yes. Absolutely.
Mm.
From my perspective, that means that I'm the bad one.
I know. No, there must be a reason behind it because we have
Also,
only
this is fourth or fifth semester or sixth semester student.
six semesters. Student.
Oh, you're so kind. Seriously, I'm not joking. My students is fourth semester.
Fourth
Yes.
year. Oh, fourth
Fourth
semester.
semester.
That means they are in second year.
Yeah, second year. So they have to build a system that is connected to a phone using a mobile application, for example,
IoT.
Flutter or something like that.
Okay.
They have to use at least two sensors, one
Yeah.
microcontroller and one actuator, and also their project must be sellable.
Ah.
The one that the one that will grade them is industrial. Friends from industry. So if their project is not sellable, and that means or are not reliable enough, or they will see me again next year. I'm
Yeah,
not
because
joking.
we also have to have our industrial panel to come and evaluate them at week 14.
Jadi RAP-nya
We
Yeah.
actually have contacted few of them for each member.
Yeah.
For each class must have at least two industrial panel. So the industrial panel will evaluate them. One of the criteria that they need to fulfill is that the product is sustainable,
Yeah.
to be feasible to be market.
Yes.
However, our level of implementation, as you know, this is only the prototype, right? So
Yeah.
it's not up to the market level. We expect them to have at least a POC, a proof of concept.
Yeah, proof of
design.
concept. Yes, I know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
only
but-
up to that level.
Yeah, seriously,
But
I'm quite surprised that you're so kind.
This is the requirement of the subject,
Yeah.
not really me.
That means my subject is too vicious for the students, right? Okay.
I need to treat them viciously next semester onwards. I will say that in the Venus University, they can survive. For the second year, student can survive. So third year should be
Yeah.
okay.
Students, engineering, from my perspective, engineering is hard at the uni level. Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to increase your skill significantly because, like I said, when you go to the company will not hire five engineers just for tuning for one product, right?
Exactly.
They will assign one engineer for one problem, one product.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the reality that you have to. The students have to know. It's hard. Yes, I know. You will get a very long sleepless night. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it worth it? I don't know. For me, the pride is seeing my product used by so many people. Yeah, especially when I develop something that is used for disabled people.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, like Braille for or something for deaf, friends that in deaf. Right. Usually, the one that I use, there's pride. There is a pride for your
Yeah.
as an engineer.
I think that they must have at the end of their mind, at the back of their mind, they must always remember that this is their ambition. They want to become an engineer, so they
Yeah.
have to be trained to become a good one.
Yeah, students,
So-
that what will make you survive this engineering.
Yes, yes. That's why you always must keep that in mind and in your heart that this is what I want to be from the start. So I have to make sure that I survive this subject. You know, I must get an A for this, because when they
Yes.
want to hire somebody, they will look at this subject, IDP subject, final year project subject. All
Yeah.
these courses actually are the key subjects that the industry will look at, whether you are going to be a good engineer or you're going to, become a so-so engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Students, 20 years from now, this country, the country is in your hands. I'm not
Yes,
joking.
right.
You have to realize that. Yeah. You have to realize that 20 years from now, you are the leader of your country. 20 years from now, you have your own children. What will you, as an engineer, will you give to them? What progress that you want to give to them? Yeah, that is the spirit that you have to keep, the pride that you have to give. Yeah, one of my teachers in engineering told me there are two, maybe more like a joke, but some will make it like there are only two professions that have the only two profession in this world that has a word creator in it. The first one is artist, the second one is engineer. Yeah. Scientists, when they report, scientists found, they find, archaeologists find. But if they told artist or engineer, they always mention the engineer create. Yeah, for us that is a source of pride. Yeah, because there is only one person that mentioned create. It is God itself, right? Yeah. So, yeah, our level is God. Second is engineer and artist. This joke, these are not blasphemy. I'm sorry, I offend sometimes. But
No,
there
I
is,
think that is the truth that the students
there is
must take pride of.
there is a
themselves.
source of pride for your engineers, because if you read in newspaper, engineers always they tell we create, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but scientists, archaeologists, historians, they also, scientists found. That means they find something that is missing. But engineers, we always create, because what? We create something that does not exist. We solve that.
We solve the problems.
Yeah, you solve the problem. Yeah, there is, for me, there is a source of pride for engineers. Yeah, you have to keep that in mind. Yeah, I know there is a lot of sleepless night. I know. Yeah.
I think at this age, we have gone through a lot, Dr. Rudy.
Yeah.
So the same thing you guys will face too, but always take pride of it as an engineer.
Keep your
you know.
spirit. I don't lie. Yeah.
So Dr. Rudy, I think this is it okay if we end 5 minutes
Okay,
already?
that's okay.
Okay.
For the material, I will use. I will ask Mr. I will give to Mr. Suryadi to give it to you.
Okay, thank you so much
Okay.
for the talk. We appreciate your.
Thank you. So it is my honor. It has been my honor. It has
we
been
were
my
very
honor.
happy to have you, because honestly speaking, to give the lecture on the rapid prototyping, I'm not that person to deliver the talk, but you have complete it flying colors. You have a lot of experience and you share with us. We are very happy with you. I think after this, I'm going to contact you again for the
Yes.
surat penghargaan.
Okay.
You
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
As a guest lecturer for University Technology Mara, especially for Faculty of Electrical Engineering. We thank you so much,
Yes.
and maybe we'll see you again for other lecture. Different topics maybe.
I'm fine. If you want to anything, I will. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so much, students.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.